Sundance. We are back. Big treat for us. We have the cast and filmmaker of The Miseducation of Cameron Post. I just saw it. I'm still recovering. Such a beautiful movie. Chloë Grace Moretz, Sasha Lane, Desiree Akhavat, and John Gallagher Jr. I mean, okay, the world has just seen the film.
The whole world. The whole
What is going through your mind right now? Like, I mean, are you like?
Go first, Chloe.
I don't
want to talk right now.
Sure.
You're still recovering. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm elated. I am so proud of this beautiful picture we made together, and to hear people laugh and gasp, and to hear the little faint cries, and to see people feeling the same emotions that I felt when I first saw it. It just is wonderful, and I hope it was as impactful as we hoped it would be.
Desiree, now tell me about, I know this is your second time at Sundance. Tell me about why this was the movie that you had to make.
I had loved this book for years, and I had stacks of them. I'd give them as gifts whenever it was someone's anything, and everyone who read it loved it. And it was my ex-girlfriend who said that you have to make this into a movie, and it lived with me for a long time. And I really, after Puppy Behavior, I thought, I read a lot of scripts and I took a lot of meetings, and everything reminded me of something else. And it was depressing. So I moved to London, which is where my co-writer and producer lives. And we sat for a year and developed things, and I slept on her couch, and I just thought, I want to tell a story that hasn't been told before in a way that doesn't feel like taking your medicine. I want you to fall in love with these kids and have them feel like normal teens in a John Hughes film, and then have it become a horror film. Because the way that we treat gay kids now, before it was a period historic piece, but now it's contemporary, is horrific.
John, I want to talk about your character because I don't want to reveal too much, but he has successfully gone through this conversion therapy. The one scene in particular when your character is so emotional and you just don't have the words to say. Take me back to that and everything that was going through your mind, because it was such a powerful moment between the two of you.
Yeah, I think that scene is where, for the whole film, he's saying, it worked for me, it'll work for you. It worked for me, it'll work for you. And he's the answer man, and the answer is always God. And I think it's maybe the first time as a counselor where he doesn't have the answer, and he's just finally at a loss for words because something so horrific has happened. And being someone, I think, particularly that has probably had those shameful thoughts and wanted to do harm to himself, I think it lands with Rick what actually has happened to this young boy that he's talking about, to Chloe's character. And it was so, it's a simple, for as lofty and heavy as it is, it was a beautifully and simply written scene. And when you're on a safe set working with like incredible people, it's a gift to be given a scene like that, and then all you do is just kind of cross your fingers and hope that you can do it justice and tell the truth.
It was unbelievable. But for everyone out there, there are some really fun, happy moments. A lot of them are from Jane Fonda over here. That's her character. I'm not calling her Jane Fonda. I want to talk about your character, and especially the relationship between your two characters. It's from the moment we see you when you take that photo, it's like, I know you're going to be fun and crazy and wild. But so tell me a little bit about the relationship between your two characters.
I think I just kind of like, I see her arriving, and I just take her under my wing, kind of.
Yeah.
Like between me, her, and Adam, we just form this bond, and I feel like I'm the one who's kind of like, all right, this is us. We got this. And the mama bear, the glue, and just kind of keeping it all together and like making some sick jokes to just kind of like
stop us from crying.
Yeah, like, don't cry, just
Chloe, I know this is really a passion project for you. Tell me a little bit why this film in particular was something that you were so passionate about wanting to make happen and also star in it.
Well, I'd taken a break from my career for about a year, and I kind of stepped back to try and figure out what I wanted to do and what message I wanted to put out. And obviously in the forefront of my mind forever since I was a young girl, I have 2 gay brothers in my family. And so just, advocating for the LGBTQ community was, a no-brainer for me, always. And when this kind of break I took in my career, I realized that I wanted to start to make more poignant messages and start to do movies that are impactful without them feeling like taking your medication.
The film being taken place at the Gay Conversion Therapy Center is the most high stakes version of what most queer people feel when they come out. And it works for the sake of this narrative, but I don't think you need to have been sent to a gay conversion therapy center to feel completely vilified in your own home and uncomfortable. And it's the story of kids, like, to me, it's the story of homeless queer teens. And building a family of friends that can replace what you lose when you come out or get caught. When I came out, it was absolutely terrifying and super isolating, and that's something that's interesting to me in films. When I seeing horrific things depicted in film growing up, it was always like, well, if they don't beat you, then it's not abuse. But there are subtle forms of abuse. And just like in the worst moments of your life, sometimes you'll just laugh hysterically. Sometimes the funniest thing will happen in the most miserable times. It's not so black and white, and that's what I wanted to explore with this film.
I want to just end quickly, go around and just tell us all like one little tidbit that you want everyone out there to take away from this film. If it's just one thing.
Kind of what Chloe said earlier, which was that I didn't realize that this was still happening until I read this script and started working on this film. I thought we've evolved and we don't practice such a cruel and archaic thing. And it was really shocking to try to come to terms with the fact that this still exists.
And it's only, what, 9 states that...
Yeah, I think it was a statistic.
Yeah.
It was 9 states, and then New Hampshire just voted 2 weeks ago against banning it.
Yeah.
So it's still legal.
It's still happening.
It's only in the states that it is illegal, and it's only legal for minors.
That's crazy. Sasha?
I think maybe perspective, like what you were saying about black and white. It's not so black and white. Just like it's such a horrible thing. What we're discussing, but I feel so much for like your character Rick. You know, you find yourself being like, it truly isn't so black and white because these people truly believe that their intentions are the best, and then who knows when they start finding themselves thinking, wait, what is right and wrong? And that's mostly what I like took from that. Yeah.
Any last other words of wisdom?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I just say that I think that I hope that people take away from this movie the fact that sometimes you're born into a family or you're put into a part of society when you're growing up that you feel very isolated and you feel alone. And as you grow up, and what happens in this movie is you can find your groove, you can find your people, and you can find your family. And it doesn't have to be what you're born into. It doesn't have to be what you're placed around. You can find happiness and love wherever.
Right next to you right now.
Find it.
Right there.
With my baby Tasha, baby Sauce.
Well, I just want to thank you because it is an amazing film and you all have to go see it. So it just premiered at Sundance. It's seeking distribution right now, but I know